Today, we have some unexpected news from the stimulus negotiations. It looks like the Democrats are likely to drop the paid family and medical leave from the social spending package. As Democrats rush to get the deal done before President Biden leaves Washington, Democratic lawmakers might be cutting this provision from the stimulus bill. Also, I mentioned to you how the IRS wants to monitor people's checking accounts at the bank for any deposits over $600. Well, it looks like lawmakers are actually calling to have that provision removed from the bill, which is a good thing because I don't want nobody getting a report of every time I deposit $600 into my account. And then lastly, I want to go down the list of what we know that will be included in the social spending package and what's actually being cut from the stimulus package. And of course, this list continues to change every hour in Washington. Now, those are just some of the topics that we are going to cover today. If you're interested in any of those, I would appreciate it if you could just go ahead and hit the like button for us. It really helps out this video. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. Now, let's go ahead and jump right back into the video. The U.S. median home prices just passed a new record. The median home price just passed $400,000 for the first time ever. In the third quarter, the median home price hit $404,700, jumping nearly 20% since the third quarter of 2020, when the median sales price was only $358,700. Though it's an eye-catching number, the market has been hot as of late, and because of the lack of inventory as well as the high demand means the rise in home prices. Now, about a month ago, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, threatened school officials about requiring kids to wear masks at school. DeSantis stated that if any forced mask mandates, he would be stopping federal funding to those school districts. Well, it appears that has finally happened. Florida stripped schools of federal aid for mask mandates. The Florida Department of Education this week withheld hundreds of thousands of dollars in federal funding from 2 school districts because of their masking policies, defying warnings from Biden administration. Volusia County officials in a statement said that the state stripped more than $160,000 this week as punishment for the school districts requiring masks. The figure equals the monthly salary of 5 school board members, as well as the entire amount of federal grant meant to compensate school districts that have their money withheld by the state. Now, this announcement comes just one day after the Biden administration warned that the state that such a move would violate federal law and represents an escalation of the administration's battle with Governor Ron DeSantis over the COVID-19 safety measures in schools. Now, in a statement from the schools, they said that I am appalled that the state would penalize the district by pulling funding we have not even received yet, Volusia County Public School Superintendent Carleen Simmons said in a statement. Now, I will say that this is just insane, guys, for them to strip the money that is federal money that is pushed down to the schools that pays for superintendent salaries as well as school teacher salaries. This is just crazy. I mean, these school officials were just doing the best thing that they thought of in order to protect their students in these schools. Now, I don't necessarily agree with these mask mandates that are pushed down by the Biden administration. However, I still believe that whether these are mask mandates or not, these school superintendents and the people that run these schools have the right to do what they think or they feel that is best for their school districts in order to protect their students at their schools. But tell me what you think about all of this, guys. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about some stimulus update news. We are down to the home stretch and Democrats are still trying to negotiate provisions in this bill, while Senator Joe Manchin is standing over their heads, giving out yeses and nos on what he will support to be included. Perhaps that entire reconciliation bill is ran by Joe Manchin himself, as he is calling all the shots, guys. But Democrats are trying to appease him in order to get the deal done as soon as possible. But as of Wednesday afternoon, it appears that the paid family and medical leave provision in the bill is not going to survive. The paid family leave benefit is likely to be removed from the social spending bill. An ambitious proposal to mandate 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave for workers nationwide will probably be struck from the Democrats' Build Back Better plan, a setback for the party's hopes of strengthening the nation's social programs. Now, paid family and medical leave has been a central plank of this social spending bill and an increasingly prominent focus of the Democrats' party candidates in recent years. But it was met with Senator Joe Manchin's opposition to establishing new government programs and by the overall cost, according to the two people familiar with the negotiations. They said that the provision probably will not be in the final package. The likely elimination of paid leave comes as the Democrats try to end weeks of negotiations to come to a final agreement on the social spending bill. In recent days, negotiations have narrowed to a few topics. Now, Manchin did say that he's considering the proposals, but that the fast-track procedure that the Democrats are using to enact this bill is not the place to do major policy. So guys, it looks like that is going to be stripped from this bill as of now, according to late on Wednesday night. Also, they are saying that the billionaire tax increase is likely to be cut as well, according to Joe Manchin being in opposition to this. Pressure is mounting on the U.S. lawmakers and the White House officials who met again on Wednesday to secure a deal on the president's Build Back Better agenda. But key sticking points, like how to pay for this massive social spending bill, remain the same. In addition to that, the Medicare expansion continues to remain in limbo. Medicare expansion hangs in the balance as Democrats race towards getting a deal done by the end of today. A major expansion of the Medicare that Democrats propose as part of the Build Back Better agenda is in danger of being trimmed or even taken out of the legislation as lawmakers scramble to make a deal. In their original $3.5 trillion budget proposal, Democrats included a revision of Medicare that would add coverage for dental, hearing, and vision. The plan was expected to cost around $350 billion over a decade. But now these parts of the expansion may be dropped as lawmakers look to trim the overall cost and rework pieces of the legislation to appease Senator Joe Manchin and Christine Sinema. Joe Manchin said that, in good conscience, I have a hard time increasing benefits when you can't take care of what you have. So that's the difference right now. And that's the discussions that we are having. The expansion has become a major sticking point in talks for this stimulus bill. According to Senator Bernie Sanders, he said that the new benefits must be included in the legislation. He also demanded that the bill allow Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices with pharmaceutical companies. But the bottom line is that any reconciliation bill must include serious negotiations of Medicare and the pharmaceutical industry to lower the cost of prescription drugs, adding that a serious reconciliation bill must include expanding Medicare to cover dental, hearing aids, and eyeglasses. So right now, the Medicare expansion is in limbo because Bernie Sanders continues to say that this will stay in the bill no matter what. However, Joe Manchin is still in opposition to this bill. Now, whether he will end up supporting it and signing it in the end, we still don't know yet. So that right now is still in limbo, according to Bernie Sanders and Joe Manchin, until they continue to fight each other over this Medicare expansion. The Biden administration continues to try and include the IRS proposal in the social spending bill, despite the small support from lawmakers. New information surfaces on the IRS proposal to track transactions of $600 or more. Now, this proposed change was offered about 2 weeks ago, and it was to the tax law, which has people concerned that any financial transaction over $600 would be flagged by the IRS. This would be a change from the current $10,000 threshold. Now, this proposal has led people all over the country to question whether the government is overstepping the financial privacy of millions of American people. Now, a fact check shows that the government would not have unrestricted access to bank accounts. The Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, says that this is not a proposal to provide detailed transactional level data by banks to the IRS. Yellen says it's a proposal to add 2 additional pieces of easily ascertained information to the 1099 bank information that is already on file. Now, Yellen says that this policy would help the IRS close the tax gap or taxes that are due but go unpaid. Tax policy experts are offering an explanation for why the proposal seeks reports of accounts of $600 or more. But as of yesterday, 21 House Democrats called for removing the IRS bank reporting proposal from the spending bill. A group of 21 Democratic U.S. representatives sent a letter to the House leadership on Wednesday calling for the proposed bank reporting rule to be removed from the $2 trillion budget reconciliation bill. Now, the proposal that Democrats are seeking to have removed would require the gross annual inflows and outflows of U.S. financial accounts be submitted to the IRS annually if they exceeded $10,000. This rule would apply to accounts like checking accounts, saving accounts, loans, and investments. While the intent of this proposal is to ensure that all taxpayers meet their obligations, a goal we strongly share, the data that would be turned over to the IRS is overly broad and raises significant privacy concerns, the lawmakers wrote in this letter. The Congress members took issue with the lack of information provided on how the IRS planned to protect the financial data, writing that the proposal would erode trust in financial services providers. The group acknowledged that while some changes have been proposed in responses to concerns raised by constituents, the measure would still largely affect people who are not wealthy tax evaders it is meant to target. Now, given the privacy concerns this raises, in addition to the significant burden that would be imposed on a broad range of businesses and financial institutions, we respectfully request that this proposal not be included in the Build Back Better package. And I will say that I am for opposing this as well. They do not need to know of anyone transactions over the amount of $600. This does not help with taxing the rich individuals that avoid paying taxes every year. Now let's go ahead and talk about what's in and what's out of the Democratic Biden infrastructure bill. So far, we have the child tax credit increase. Now that is going to be included in this bill. However, it's only going to be included for the first year, which is going to expire on December of 2022. We also have the expansion of Medicaid, which is going to be included in this bill. And that is going to be included for the next 2 years, which should expire on December of 2023. And then we also have Medicare expansion, which is going to include the dental, the vision, as well as hearing aids. But that's unclear right now whether that will be included in this bill or whether that will be cut from it. It all depends on whether Joe Manchin and Bernie Sanders can actually agree on whether they want to include this in this bill or not, as well as whether Joe Manchin will actually sign this bill if it still stays in the social spending package. Also, we just talked about the paid family leave program that has allowed workers to take time off for childbirth. That is going to be reduced in this bill or either removed altogether. Initially, they wanted about 12 weeks to be included, and then they narrowed it down to only 4 weeks. But I think right now that they are just going to be removing it altogether from this bill. And then the universal pre-kindergarten for all 3 and 4-year-olds, as well as child care subsidies for poor and middle income Americans are still in this bill. Biden's plan calls for parents earning up to 150% of the state's median income to pay no more than 7% of their income on child care, with the poorest families getting free child care. He has proposed a tax credit for as much as half of the family's spending on child care, up to $4,000 for one child or $8,000 for 2 or more children. And then we also have the free community college that is going to be removed from the social spending bill. And then it also looks like the program that is for the fighting climate change is going to be removed from this package as well. So yeah, guys, those are the things that are going to be included in this bill, as well as those things that have been removed from this bill. That is the information that we have so far. However, as you know, things change every hour in Washington. So this information could change by the end of today. And then they are still trying to include the debt limit decision within the bill, as well as the billionaire tax provision, in which businesses are vowing to fight against it right now. But as far as that new billionaire tax increase, major business groups are preparing to fight against those proposals. 2 of the biggest pro-business groups in the country, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the Business Roundtable, are gearing up to fight the new tax proposals in Congress as Democrats work to finish President Joe Biden's social safety net program, as well as the climate spending bill. Now, the proposals would target billionaires through the tax code, as well as enact a 15% minimum corporate tax on declared income for large corporations. Now, centrist Joe Manchin has voiced his concerns about the so-called billionaire tax. The senator from West Virginia, who represents a pivotal vote in the Senate, has worked to shrink Biden's and the Democrats' proposals for this bill. He favors the minimum corporate tax. However, the chamber and the biggest business advocacy groups in this country told CNBC that it is concerned that lawmakers are rushing these proposals through Congress. We are concerned about this attempt at the 11th hour to rush through brand new and complex and untested methods of taxation. The group stated the lawmakers haven't really thoroughly vetted the proposals for the unintended consequences of these tax proposals. Bradley stated that no lawmaker can say that they have seriously contemplated the impact of these proposals and what it has on businesses around the country. So yeah, guys, the largest business groups are planning to fight against this billionaire tax for the large corporations. And I must say that it's probably going to be removed as well in the end. Now look here, everyone. It is crazy how all of the Democrats are having to make changes back and forth in order to get the approval of one man, Joe Manchin, which is insane. It's ridiculous. But in order for the Democrats to pass legislation without the support of any Republicans, they need all 50 votes. And unfortunately, their party has a total of 50 members to actually vote yes for certain policies. And Joe Manchin makes up one of those. But anyways, guys, hey, that's it for today. Will the Democrats have a preliminary vote on the bill sometime today before President Biden leaves for the G20 summit in Europe? Or will they be forced to finish this up when Biden returns back to Washington? Now, if you enjoyed this type of content and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the like button for us. It definitely helps out a lot. And it also tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching. And I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.